What's up, guys? We're going to play another rating climb game here, 11:35, and still kind of expecting those 1 to 2 significant mistakes each game. And so basically the game plan is the same. Just kind of try to play solid, play smart, and wait for those mistakes to happen. Okay, so our opponent plays Bishop C5. I wonder if we should play the Evans Gambit. I don't know like a ton about it, but it's kind of a fun opening. Basically you give up this pawn. Let's go ahead and play it. You give up this pawn to kind of gain some tempos. Okay, this is a line. I don't know if it's a good one because it allows us to immediately push and maybe even take this. So that's the immediate thing that's coming to my mind. I think I will play b5 and just chase away the defender of this e5 pawn. Goes knight to d4. So obviously it looks like a free pawn, but you do have to be careful because sometimes there are tricky moves that can cause you problems. In this case, I'm not really sure. Like queen h4, I don't think I'm super concerned about. I think I would be able to just castle to deal with this threat. Am I concerned about queen there? I could take here and play king f1. It's kind of tricky though. The knight comes in, my bishop's under attack. Yeah, so that's the only thing. The other option is I take with the bishop first, then my knight comes in, which unleashes my queen. Kind of like that. And then of course there's just castling and just not doing any of that stuff. So queen to e7, do I have another move like f4? Can I play that? There's still going to be like d6. I don't like giving that queen access to capture here. It just looks like there's too many threats. So I don't think I want to do that. This one I get 2 pawns right away. He's probably going to go to f8. Queen here, threatening checkmate, but black can deal with that relatively easily with like queen f6. So maybe it's just not the best to do that. I don't actually know. I don't know. When in doubt, I'm just going to castle because this can't really be a bad move. I'm getting my king out of the center before I start looking at, opening things up. Okay, opponent is just totally not worried about this pawn at all. Now I'm much more comfortable taking it because now my king is safe. So queen here, not a big deal. We can just take this, no problems at all because we have rook e1. Guess we just take it. Yeah, I think it's just a free pawn at this point. So I'm going to take it now. Huge difference between if my king is on e1 or if I've already castled. So we will grab that pawn. I'm expecting black will probably castle now to defend on f7. And there we see that. So, like I've mentioned before, typically giving up a knight and a bishop for a rook and a pawn is not a good trade. So I don't think I'm going to take that. I think what I will do, though, is maybe chase this knight away with c3. Because I don't see a whole lot of places for the knight to go. Probably has to go back to e6, and then maybe I can strike with d4. I might want to defend that pawn, though. So the other way to play it would be something like knight c3, just to leave the knight there. Kind of a weird position already that we have here. Could also play bishop b2. Maybe just d3 to just defend that pawn like that. Maybe that's the simplest thing. Yeah, maybe I will just play d3. A lot of times in this situation, I would play rook e1 to defend the pawn. But in this case, I'm just wondering if I'm going to need that defended. Maybe not. Maybe not, because really once I play c3, d4, the bishop is not really in the game. So maybe rook e1 is the best move. What happens on d6? Probably just going to retreat. There could be bishop g4, which is potentially a little bit concerning. So, you know what I might actually do? I'm going to play rook e1. And I know I just said that I don't like giving up my knight and bishop for a rook and a pawn. But in this case, I might make an exception. And the reason that I might make that exception... Okay, we're not going to see it. d5. Never mind. I was going to say if d6 happened, I would probably take that. Only because going back kind of looks like it walked into a pretty annoying pin. And that would probably be an exception. In this case, d5, I imagine we can just take that. Takes. And then we can kick the knight away is what I'm thinking. Just checking the tactics to make sure that it doesn't lose any pieces. I don't see anything. I don't even have to take this if I don't want. I can just play c3 now and d4. Because if I get c3 and d4, and it does a couple things. Removes the knight from the center of the board. Blocks off the bishop. And adds a defender to my knight. So that looks great. I don't see any tactics, so I am going to play c3. Once the knight moves, like I said, I think we'll play d4. And we should be in pretty good shape at that point. Because not only do we have the extra pawn, now we're starting to gain some more control over the center. Yeah, so d4 looks really good. And notice how black's bishops are kind of blocked off now. So Feeling good about this. Bishop a3 looks like a pretty nice move. Okay, f6. It does chase my knight away, but look at this. Lines up the bishop on the king. That looks very risky for black. I'm even thinking of ignoring my knight and just playing a move like queen f3 to just try to build the pressure on that diagonal. Queen b3 maybe is even better because it lines up on this one as well. That looks pretty good. Because if you imagine if black takes me, I might actually end up getting both knights for that. I think I am going to play queen b3. On the offensive here. Put my queen on that diagonal. Bishop a3 also looks like a pretty nice move. If I do have to move my knight, I can probably just go back here to f3. Okay, they are going to take it, which I think is a mistake because now we immediately get our piece back, but we also have a pin. And we're threatening to win another piece here. It's only defended one time. It's attacked 2 times. And if black tries to get out of the pin, we simply take it. If black tries to defend, I don't understand what's going on. I think black is just playing very quickly and making some big mistakes. So I guess we just take a free piece. Take it with check. And okay, there's a little bit to be careful of here. There's a threat here. And if we take, you know, the rook, necessarily that easy, but I'm thinking of going here. If the pawn pushes, we could play bishop e3, which defends this and develops a piece. That looks pretty good. I don't really want to take because it allows this, and my rook is in trouble. I definitely don't want to do that. I could also play knight d2, followed by knight f3, but I think I would rather push and play bishop e3. That looks pretty solid to me. There's rook to e8, but we would have the trade, and then we would have time to deal with the back rank. So I think we're okay. Let's go ahead and play c4. You do have to be careful with the back rank like this. But in this case, like I mentioned, we would have time to just trade. Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. Okay, so here we go. Bishop to e3. Deals with the threat, develops a piece, and now we're ready to bring this knight out and connect all the rooks, and we're in pretty good shape. It was a little tricky, but I don't think it was worth black giving up a piece for that, because it, actually relatively easy for me to deal with that. Bishop d4. Okay, I didn't see that move before. That's a clever move because normally I would want to take and then just move my knight. But then we're losing this pawn. Also losing our knight. So very clever by our opponents. Did not see that. I think I'm going to have to sacrifice the rook for the bishop and play knight to d2. So that's a pretty good move, actually. I'm just checking if I have any other ways to get out of this. If I take and go queen here. No, that doesn't work. Yeah, I think I am going to have to give that up, unfortunately. So let's play knight to d2. Good move by our opponent. Didn't see that. I don't know if they planned that out or if it just happened to be there. Regardless, strong move. And they do get the rook. Now, it's still good for us because 2 pieces for a rook is still better. But not as much as before. I am keeping an eye on the time, so I am going to try to move a little bit quicker here. Let's go queen to g4. The reason I'm picking g4 is it's lined up here, and I might at some point consider bishop d4. Also kind of defends the pawn, and just seems like a nice square to control a lot of squares. I would like to attack this pawn if possible. It's kind of an annoying pawn. I can't just leave it unattended, or it could very easily become a queen. Okay, let's deal with the threat. And I think maybe even bishop d4 now is a good way to just start attacking some stuff there. Yeah, I think I will do that. So black has to keep the queen somewhere guarding this square. So here, 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 I believe are the options. Queen g6, I would probably trade. I think the knight and the bishop are going to massively outperform the rook at the endgame. Okay, queen here attacks the knight. So let's just think maybe rook here. I needed to defend that anyway, and I wanted to put pressure here. I think rook d1 makes sense. And probably loop the knight over here and try to take this pawn is the idea next. Okay, I think knight f3 makes sense. Don't see any reason to not do that. Also adds a defender. And I'm threatening to take this pawn. Now, I can't actually take it just yet because I have back rank mate problems. But I can fix that pretty easily with a pawn move over here, which I think is what I'm going to do maybe next. And then we will be threatening the pawn. Also, 95 is an idea. There might be some cool tactics after this move. Okay, rook to e2. Very aggressive by our opponent. Like we already talked about, we can't take that. I can play 95, though, and threaten that. Or I could play h3, like I mentioned, to make some space for my king. Yeah, I think I do want to fix the back rank mate problem, so I'm going to play h3. I don't... There's too many tactics that can pop up here with the back rank, especially if d2 happens, and so many ways I could mess something up there. So I think the safe thing, especially in this situation, I'm kind of low on time, I'm going to just play h3. Okay, now that we've dealt with that, I could take this and run over here with my king, or I could play 95. I think I'm going to take it. It's a very dangerous pawn. I don't want to leave it sitting around. I'm going to take it. Yes, there's a queen check here, but I can just move my king. And the queen, remember, is guarding checkmate. So black can't really leave the queen away for long. Okay, that looks like a blunder. I lose my rook, but there's checkmate. So the check here, we just move. It's fine. Yeah, so again, we see the same pattern, right? Opponent's playing pretty well, playing pretty good moves, and then bam, big mistake. And I was ready for it, right? So that's what, you know, keeps an 1100 at 1100. Okay, I think we just move here. We have the attack on the rook. Of course, the rook can't move because of the back rank mate. Actually, even just this is checkmate. There's so many checkmates here, and I think black is toast. Okay, so yeah, they deal with this one, but they don't deal with the g7 one. So there we go, checkmate on g7. So let's take a look at that game. And it doesn't look like I played it very well. So this will be interesting to see. Not too bad, 88. Okay, a couple of mistakes there, though. So let's take a look. And I'm not super familiar with the Evans Gambit. I don't play it a lot, and definitely haven't really had much experience with the decline. Most people are taking it, and then you can play c3 and d4, and you know, I'm a little bit more familiar. This is kind of a weird line. b5, okay, knight d4, and let me turn on the analysis over here. So yeah, let me just see for my own curiosity. It was a bad move, but not for the reasons that I thought. It was bad because of d5 or queen g5. Queen g5, interesting move. I've seen this idea in like the elephant gambit. Basically, you allow this capture, but then your queen comes in. And if I try to save my rook, yeah, super nasty checkmate here. Same thing shows up in like the is the elephant gambit? I think it's elephant gambit, maybe the Blackburn shilling gambit. There's a lot of gambits where this idea comes up. So that was one way, and also just d5 here. And if I take it, then probably is again queen g5. Yep, so the same idea of queen g5 forking these guys. Super good position for black. So here's a good example of where like my instinct was telling me like it was kind of risky to take that. So I just castled, which was a good move. Knight f6. And now I took, and it's totally different like I mentioned in the game because my king is safe. Interesting. Black actually did get some nice compensation here that I didn't quite realize was happening. But even here you can see Engine is saying white's better. The knight and the bishop are better than a rook. And that big mistake that I was talking about, we saw it right here. Blundered a rook, right? As soon as the opponents stop making those mistakes, they're going to be 12, 13, 1400, right? So that's where it gets more difficult. Okay, hope you guys learned something. I'll see you next time. Stay sharp, play smart, take care.